A controversial bill to regulate and limit the sale of hemp products was vetoed by Governor Ron DeSantis. The bill would have banned the sale of cannabis products like Delta-8.
CBS News member's Jim DeFede has been digging into the politics behind the governor's veto. And Jim, interesting because the governor is firmly against legalizing recreational marijuana. So how do you explain that he is protecting hemp products?
You know, Jim, I'll tell you, that is literally maybe the multi-million-dollar question. Some estimates say that the hemp business in Florida is a $10 billion a year industry, employing tens of thousands of people. This bill would have gutted that industry. In his veto message, the governor wrote, "Small businesses are the cornerstone of Florida's economy. The bill would in fact impose debilitating regulatory burdens on small businesses and almost certainly fail to achieve its purpose." The businesses now he's talking about are those so-called smoke shops, vape shops, hemp shops that we've seen just sort of proliferate and spread like wildfire once Congress made the sale of cannabis products legal.
And Jim, our viewers might recall it was just 2 weeks ago that you had a report and you predicted that the governor would veto this bill, but there may be political motivation behind it.
So the governor is arguing that it is essentially a financial decision. He doesn't want to hurt these small businesses. But there's also an element here from a number of sources. I've spoken to at least a dozen sources around the governor and are involved in this decision making. And some of it is sort of the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, the hemp industry and the marijuana industry are very competitive. They are not the same businesses. They have very different business entities, business models. And so the governor wants the marijuana amendment that is on the ballot in November to lose. And so one of the things that he's doing is by keeping the hemp industry alive, he's hoping that people will therefore want to stay with hemp and not vote in favor of marijuana. And he's also hoping that you're going to get the hemp industry to help finance his efforts to kill the marijuana initiative.
And we were talking earlier very quickly, the Hunter Biden felony gun conviction today could tie into the Florida referendum on recreational marijuana.
Of course, there has to be something like this. So real briefly, one of the things that's come out because of the Hunter Biden issue is that if you have a medical marijuana card, for instance, in Florida, you are not allowed to purchase a firearm. And so a lot of people who want to enjoy themselves use hemp products, which doesn't put them on a registry. And so that's another issue that's sort of at play here. It's fascinating dynamics we're going to see play out over the next few months.
Really interesting that there's a distinction between the two, hemp and marijuana, because I think that there's a tendency to group them together.
Very, very different industries. You know, a simple way to think of it, marijuana tends to come from the female part of the plant. Hemp comes from the male part of the plant. And so as a result, you have very different products and different chains of who sells them. Big industry, big competitive industries that are going after each other.
Different lobbying efforts for sure.
Different lobbying efforts.
Jim DeFede,
thank you.
Thank you.